TV. Thank you, Rapid TV. Please keep watching Rapid TV.
This is Rapid TV.
Rapid
TV.
Keep watching.
Keep it meltdown. Leave it like that.
My name is Akio Sakido.
Hey guys, this is Anto Lecky.
My name is Leo Bliss.
My name is Akava. Go by the name Baba D.
You're tuned into Rapid TV. And I love Rapid TV.
Shout out. Rapid TV. Thank you, Rapid TV. Please keep watching
Rapid TV. This is Rapid TV.
Rapid
TV.
Keep watching.
Keep it meltdown. Leave it like that.
All right, welcome back and thanks for staying with us. It's still Rapid Done right here on Rapid TV. I am Martha Alu, and of course, I'm always alongside.
Where's Victor? Okay, it's good to have you back on the 9 o'clock hours. I was laughing because I was expecting the Martha. Of course, she just decided not to put that in at this point in time. But of course, we're going to be having a big conversation right here on Rapid Done this morning.
Right, people. Now, the matter, I know my name is Martha, right?
Exactly.
But the matter in Rivers State is one that has been of widespread deliberation, not just for people in Rivers State, but people across Nigeria, because we have seen the back and forth within the state happen in layers, from setting an emergency rule to the brouhaha with people that are being, the lawmakers from Rivers State,
right.
And all of that. So from the brouhaha of the people from Rivers State, the lawmakers, this is PDP, this is APC, to completely shutting down the complex, and then the emergency rule in Rivers State, and then the peace talks between the president, Simi Fubara, and the FCT minister, and now the local government by-elections. Now, so there's been a lot of back and forth, and like I said, there's been layers to the conversations in Rivers State, some of which people have argued that some of the things that go on there it's not constitutional, and to some it is not in the constitutional right of the sole administrator to make certain decisions. These are the conversations that we will be having today. I'll call it the brouhaha in Rivers State, the controversy over the local government polls. And to have that conversation with us today, I have Engineer Kenneth Eze, and he is an executive director of Speak Out Africa Initiative. Thank you so much for joining us here today, sir.
Thank you. You're welcome. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, good people of River State.
Yes, sir. Good morning. You're welcome. Yeah.
All right. Now, to start the conversation, let's talk about what the Constitution says about appointment of a sole administrator in place of elected local government councils. Is it constitutional, or does it amount to executive overreach?
Thank you. First of all, let me start by saying that I'm always not too excited when matters that we have to discuss about our country, our subnational government, instead of being centered around development and developmental stride, we are battling with rule of law, violations of rule of law and constitutionality. So it's very, very sad because this does not present our dear nation, Nigeria, in good light before the Committee of Nations. So having said that, to answer your question very directly, of course, it is no longer in news. It was widely opposed by all lovers of democracy, by the habitants and the custodians of the law, that even the earlier declaration of state of emergency in Rivers State was a gross violation of the Constitution of Nigeria, because there was never any justification to have done that. That is no longer a matter to be discussed. And that is why a lot of persons had posts that action was politically motivated. Of course, because we knew the origin, the genesis of what even led to all these things. Somebody somewhere, playing Godfather, engineered the entire process and all those things that had happened. And surprisingly, that same person is still holding on to his own position. He hasn't lost any sleep. Whereas the other person, I had thought that when two are fighting, the two persons are supposed to have been reprimanded in that sense. But what we have is a one-sided approach. So it is widely opposed, condemned, and slandered that the situation in Rivers State never warranted such. Of course, people were not saying that the president do not have rights to do that, but the situation in Rivers State did not warrant such action. And it was widely described as illegitimate and executive overreach. Because what it means is that someone else tomorrow can stir up a problem of that similarity in any state. And also the president will declare that. If that becomes the case, then we are in a very serious problem. But what is even a more problem is that despite all the proposals, all the calls for Mr. President, is a human being, is binded to make mistake. He can make mistake. But when you make mistake, what also showed a good leader, that such a high esteem position as a number one custodian of Nigerian rule of law is that when you make mistake, maybe you were ill-advised or wrongly advised, then immediately you have to restrain your step. But that is not what we are seeing. So we had expected that there is no reason why the state of emergency should have lasted till, we are talking about 4 months already. So there is no reason, because waiting till 6 months is saying that what I did early, I did not learn anything from it. So I'm holding on to what I did. So we had expected that 1 month down the line, you can do the same broadcast. We are all human. It is not anything. We are even making even more mistake than that. And you will call back the governor and start the healing process and everything. But even the worst is what we are seeing happening. Trying to arrogate power that the sole administrator does not have, that the provision did not provide for him. And that is even why the new clamor is ongoing.
So what is the legal and democratic implications of, that power? Because you said you are giving to the sole administrator the power that is not constitutionally stated or that is not constitutionally allocated to him. So what is the impact, or what is the effect of this to our democracy and to the electoral process as well?
Thank you. Of course, the issue is beyond even the individuals. We're not here to talk about the sole administrator. Of course, for him, he's answering a national call.
Of course.
The president is an individual. Tomorrow, somebody is going to be the next president. Before now, we had other presidents. The issue is about protecting and safeguarding the rule of law, our hard-earned democracy, which, coincidentally, we have been told that even the president himself has also played a key role at one point or the other to make sure that we have the democracy that we have today. The most unfortunate thing that we see among our political actors is that they are the main and the major beneficiaries of democracy, yet they are the major abuser. So, and it does not make any good reason that I am abusing the same process that I am a beneficiary. As I speak to you here, I'm not a political figure, I don't hold any, I'm in the civil society sector. So if we should even see people who should be running contrary to laws, it should be those that do not benefit from the system, not politicians. He became governor, from governor, senator to the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. All of them. So if we are talking about beneficiaries, they are the beneficiaries.
Engineer,
Now, to answer your question, the sole administrator, first is that you cannot build something on nothing. The process that brought the sole administrator itself is flawed, unconstitutional, is not correct, is standing on nothing. Now, and conducting election, the local government election that they are planning in Rivers State, is a legitimate legal process that has its base in the Constitution, both in the Rivers State Electoral Act, both in the the Electoral Act itself and in the Constitution. So an illegitimate process cannot produce a legitimate exercise.
We're going to jump
So-
to the local government election in a moment.
Good.
But let's talk about the constitutionality of the state of emergency in River State. Because you said that it is not constitutional, it is illegal. But according to Section 305 of the 1999 Constitution, which has always been the bone of contention, it grants the president the authority to declare a state of emergency, right? When there is actual breakdown of public order, public safety, or a clear and present danger to the nation or part of it in River State. And the second part of that law says the president must also follow procedural safeguards such as seeking approval from the National Assembly within 2 or 10 days, depending on whether they're on section. And the president did seek the approval as well of the National Assembly after he declared.
Was it before?
emergency.
I wanted to ask you.
After it was
I
after
didn't-
he
I
did
didn't
it.
want
so
to
that's
go.
why he's
You
saying
understand?
the process that even brought him
Is
is flawed.
flawed.
No, definitely, according to arguments as well too by
No.
even lawmakers and lawyers as well, that procedure for the president to have also sought the approval of the House, was still in tandem with the law. Whether he sought for the approval before or after.
Not
No, but the
before.
Constitution clearly
The-
says before.
No, it didn't say before.
No.
Right?
It
Was
says
follow
10
process
days.
Such as seeking approval from the National Assembly.
Seeking
within
approval.
2 or
Do you
10
seek
days.
approval
You didn't seek
from an
approval,
action you have already taken? Do you seek approval? You have
For
already
some-
conducted,
yeah.
and you have already
Yeah.
taken an action. So what are you seeking approval for?
Okay.
You are just trying to legitimate. See, if we are to go deeply from the beginning, the entire process that led to this is flawed. One is, you have just rightly said it. Now, the conditions you mentioned there, as far as everybody is concerned, is not happening in River State.
Okay.
There is
that's
no,
what we're going to
the situation did not lead to that, did not even warrant that. So, sole administratorship declaration in River State has no legal foothold. And even getting approval, the so-called approval, was it an approval? After it has been declared, is another violations. And that is what I said earlier. We are human. You can,
retract.
retract your steps. You can, but you cannot build something on nothing. The situation of declaring a state of emergency in a state, that was not what happened in River State. There is nothing of sort. I told today that even 2 people were fighting. Do you ask, what about the other person? Has he lost his position? He hasn't. So when you when you declare state of emergency, you're supposed to be working in tandem with the governor.
Okay.
The governor. The essence of state of emergency was to bring peace and order and civility to the state. So the entire process, the fact that what the so-called permission or approval from the National Assembly did not follow, you will see, so some of the lawmakers did not even, they walked out. And that is why Nigerians still believe that the current National Assembly is really not living up to expectation.
Okay.
Some describe them as just a stooge or an extension of the executive act. But I know that is not why we're here.
All right,
So,
then.
but the main issue is that the mistakes has been done. Why do we allow the mistake to still linger up to 4 months? And so it shows that, and we're talking about the major custodians and beneficiary of our hardened democracy, of the rule of law.
All right. The matter in River State, of course, is a back and forth between Wike's influence versus Fubayo's authority in River State. And to what extent does the former governor of River State wield the political influence over River State? And how is this undermining the authority of the governor of River State? That's one part of the question. The other part is, how can this be resolved? Because if we constantly have interference from the past governor of River State in the current administration, which is the same thing we are seeing with the by-elections right now. Most of the candidates for the local government elections are allegedly coming from the former governor of River State and the minister of the FCT. How can this influence be checked?
Thank you. I think people believe that the president is an accomplice in this whole matter. Being that it can't take him 30 minutes to resolve this issue.
Okay.
One, that the minister of the FCT in question is his own appointee. It's not bigger than him.
Okay.
Now, and whatever may be the reason why he's still enjoying his support as regard Rivers State is what people are now beginning to discuss. That there is more to it. In fact, the recent move to conduct the local government election is a pointer, is a strong pointer that that's the main reason why the duly elected governor, similar Fubara, was removed, was because of this main thing to take over the structure of the local government.
Okay.
Because if it were to be that the sole administrator came to bring peace, you cannot come to bring peace and you are talking about conducting an election. A process like election, a sacred process like election. And you are rushing to do that as quickly as possible. So the president can solve this issue, would have solved it. And by doing that is by making sure that, because we are talking today, tomorrow it will be another person. In fact, the so-called former governor never or couldn't have allowed anyone to do this to him. So the issue about it is not about whether the Fubara or the Wike, is about the constitution. It's about democracy. It's about our image before the Committee of Nations. It's about the good people of Rivers State. It's about doing the right thing.
Okay.
And that is why executive overreach must be cautioned, must be curtailed. Because if that is done, I tell you today, if the current minister and the former governor of Rivers State is no longer enjoying the support of the president in this matter, the issue will die down immediately. And that is the truth. Because why all this thing is happening? Because you ask yourself, why is a sole administrator resorting to conducting election? Was that why you came? Have we forgot about the law that even established the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission? Every state Independent Electoral Commission has a law. The law itself only stipulates and gives power that a governor, a duly elected governor, has the right to constitute a 7-man panel committee of the commission, which will be headed by the chairman of the RSEC and other commissioners. So you will ask yourself, how is a sole administrator who supposedly came to bring calmness and peace to the state, how did he suddenly become a duly elected governor and appointed the current chairman of that commission, who is now telling us that election is going to happen in August 30?
Okay.
So you are seeing a lot of, and why it's painful is that we have a father who is a custodian, should be a custodian of rule of law and democracy. Even if he has to do that, it's your own biological son that is about to rubbish what was I had heard many people has cost people's life, including yourself, has played key role in safeguarding democracy. You will tell the person that I can't take this. Sorry, this is because this is going to live beyond.
But why? But why do we see constantly that the rule of law, like you have mentioned severally, is being ignored? Because we have seen multiple court pronouncements on this same tenor of local government officials and their removal. So we see selective enforcement or complete ignorance or complete, how do they call it? Yes, the rule of law being completely disregard in disputes like this. Why do you see this constantly happen? Not just in Rivers State now, in most parts of the country.
It happened because the set of politicians we have in this part of the world are not people you can easily tame. They are, and that is why we need to strengthen the system as against the individuals.
Okay.
We have people who are political actors who are stronger. Imagine a politician telling you that, let us see how you are going to win a particular state. One man. And he will say it boldly. Why? What do you think makes him to have that boldness? Because he knows that the people's power is not going to count. He knows how they are going to manipulate it. So the system, the politician we have in this part of the country, Nigeria in particular, seems and appear to be stronger than the system. So whatever you are putting in place, this ensure they manipulate it, they compromise it, they frustrate it to make sure that system does not work against them. That is why, as we speak today, have you ever heard any statement from the president or presidency about electoral act reform? All has been going on. No statements. Why? Do you think if he had believed that it's going to work for his good, he will be the one that will be leading the cause? So except where Nigerians stand their ground and said, this is not just about you, it's about all of us. Okay. No one is more Nigerian than another person. As you are Nigerian, another person is also a Nigerian, has equal stake. So they are doing this because of that personal desire.
Let's talk about
that personal desire to continue to remain in power. For them, being in power is what gives them relevance. So anything that will make them to be out of power, they will find a way to fight it and make sure that you don't have your way.
Let's talk about judicial role right now, because the whole thing still boils down to the ambit of the law.
Yes.
What should the judiciary be doing at this point in time?
Thank you. In fact, I was coming to that. Okay. The judiciary has a very good and a big stake to play.
Okay.
In fact, many people had believed that judiciary is also part of the people that are allowing this to continue. Because in most cases, and of recent, judgment we have been seeing from our courts confuses the citizens more than giving clarity. And it's not that the judge does not know what to do or how to give a clear judgment. But for whatever reason, they make things in such a way that, in fact, when you take matter to court, you are almost like getting more confused after the judgment than before you went into the court. And that is why people are calling on the NBA, calling on the National Judicial Council, that we need to save this nation. We are saying all this because we still have a nation. Because there is a limit to what the citizen can bear. There is a point you put your child to. Your child becomes so frustrated and he bounces back. He said, there's nothing, no option again. And that's why we are praying we don't get to that point. Because the judiciary also, now look at the case of the River State. Is it not stated expressly in the Constitution that if you are elected on a political party and and you on your own declare that you are leaving that political party, you stand to lose your position, which was why it was declared so. But as we speak, we saw how the judiciary had been, playing around the whole thing, giving judgment that is not here, is not there. The other side are claiming the victory. This side are claiming victory. So the judiciary has a... we are calling on judiciary. Now, in this case of River State, I hope you are aware that the earlier election of this state local government under the duly elected governor was annulled. An election of the local government. Why? Because he did not comply with the Electoral Act. The Electoral Act has a number of days. We didn't go. There are many reasons why the forthcoming election should not hold. There are time frame stipulated by INEC. INEC itself said this about 2 weeks ago. You cannot just wake up and say you are doing election in August 30. How many days? There's a stipulated about 90 days. That all this has to happen. That was why the first election was cancelled by the court. So, and that is why we are very sure, we in the civil society, we know that this forthcoming election, even if they later go ahead and conduct it, it's dead on arrival. It cannot hold. It's not. The law is very clear. The past one was cancelled for even similar reason. So there are a lot of reasons which I have mentioned. One is that an illegitimate process, a sole administrator, the law does not recognize him to conduct that election. Two is that the act and the law that established the River State Independent Electoral Commission itself only permits that a duly elected governor is one that has the right to constitute the body, 7-man commission headed by the chairman who will conduct the election. Third one is that there is a stipulated time of 90 days before you can even do. All these three things
have not been
met. The most unfortunate thing why we are shouting is that, do you imagine how much that will be spent? Do you know that few weeks ago the same River State's budget was approved by the National Assembly? You saw how much that was budgeted for CCTV camera, which was later cut down, and we don't know all the things that played out, and they approved it. Now, you will be shocked the amount of money that will be spent on this so-called election that you already know cannot stand is nothing. You are just so. Why will you use taxpayer money? Why can't you use that money to build road?
Okay. Now, in light of what you have said, because from understanding the point where you're coming from, there's been an abuse of power by the State Independent Electoral Commission. Is there now a valid argument for dissolving the State Independent Electoral Commissions and handing over all electoral activities and otherwise in a state to INEC?
In fact, you have spoken. That is what we are pushing for.
But,
For us.
but INEC has been dragged many times for conducting elections that are not up to par.
No, I'm coming to that.
All right.
That is what, in fact, is our major cash. Our major campaign
Okay.
in the civil society, especially we have a project login, local open governance initiative by local government.
Okay.
What we are canvassing is a collapse,
Okay.
to collapse the State Independent Electoral Commission. Because they are just an appendage.
Does that not put
Of the
too
state
much of a
government.
burden on
It
on
does
INEC?
not. Now, and on INEC also had on many occasions honored and accepted the responsibility that they are ready to do that fully.
The people
before
that
the
could
Senate.
not make beavers work for the general
No,
elections.
we are coming. Now,
Okay.
why we have a lot of areas we have issue with INEC.
Okay.
You cannot compare that with what is happening in the so-called election in the states. What is happening in the states is a glorified selection. It's no near to election.
When it comes to local government election,
The only way we have election is in the 6 area council in FCT. Aside, does it not surprise you? In FCT, do you know that we have multi-party local government chairman? We have PDP, we have APC in Amak, in Buhari, in
Yes.
Kogoda, in Kuje. Where does that happen? Why does that? Because it's INEC. You win by popularity. I am not exonerating INEC. INEC has its own blame. Now, so the burden is nothing. What INEC will do, and then what we are canvassing to, that they will create a special unit in INEC. That unit, National Local Government Election Commission, that will oversee and solely be mandated with responsibility of conducting election for local government in Nigeria. Because what we see at state level is not election. At state level, if you even go to go and buy form, they will not even sell form for you if you are not from the party. On the day of the election, you will not even see anything near ballots.
Yeah.
You can't even, nothing. The next thing you will see is that election has been announced. So it is not, no election is happening at the subnational level with regards to local government. And that's why we are calling for that especially now that we now have financial autonomy pronounced by the Supreme Court.
I like the fact that you said pronounced.
Pronounced.
Because it is not being implemented yet.
Yeah, I say pronounced, but that is for itself a step further.
Okay.
Now, that's financial autonomy for it to have credence, for it to have full implementation and manifestation. There must be a corresponding concomitant political autonomy, which is giving power, taking power away from the State Independent Electoral Commission and centralizing it. When you centralize it, there is no way one man can rig the entire election in the 774 local government in the same day. The yes we can rig is to go to your local government. So we will give room for multi-party, we give room for competence over selection, and we give room for being an appendage of the chief executives, where the governor, now, if not for the Supreme Court, I hope you are aware, that prior to now, not until December 30th, the deadline that was given, that what we had was caretaker committees.
Yeah.
Caretaker running local government in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So the charade they call election, which for us is still a good step. And we're now saying, let's take it further, abolish State Independent Electoral Commission, especially as the constitution is going, centralize everything, and have a special unit there. Now, one of the advantage that will give to us is that we will have a uniform local government tenure in Nigeria, as against what we currently have.
Yeah, because
Okay.
different
In
parts of the
states,
state.
It's governor that decide how long his own chairman. In fact, in Benue State, a governor came in and removed all the duly elected local government chairmen. Till I speak to you now, nothing was done about it. The government is still sending money for allocations to short local government. Whereas in Osun State, they've crippled local government. I just, follow for since February this year till today, as I speak to you, in Osun State, there is no local government. Staffs, and I wonder, how do they eat? But the same thing happened. Why? Because different party. In Oshu, we have PDP. In Benin, we have APC. It's something you can verify. Benue State, a governor came in, dissolved through a duly elected chairman that was done. The same thing the former governor of Benue State did, because this present governor was saying that why will you have to conduct election when you're already exiting? The same thing is what happened in Oshu. So we cannot continue to live like this in a nation, having different rules applied to different people. Once you come to my party, your sins are washed away, then you are free to do whatever you want to do. We must, because this is not encouraging the young people.
Let's talk about IPAC a little bit. Some of the statements that they made, one of which was that they urged the political parties to boycott the election. But my question is, if they do, if political parties boycott the Rivers State local government election, right, would that give RISEC the perfect excuse to announce a sweeping win for preferred candidates?
So, do you think there's going to be election? I don't know why we call this election. How is it going to be election?
Because RISEC has announced August 30th. Now, we do know that we're having a fight back, from the state, right? There's a fight back from the state, but RISEC has made the announcement for August 30th. Right, that announcement is there. So we have that fight back coming on board. And now we have IPAC also saying, saying that boycott the election. So I'm saying, in essence, if it is being boycotted, wouldn't that give RISEC that, excuse to just announce a sweeping victory?
I think IPAC, you mean the body.
Yes, IPAC the body.
That's house all the political parties. I think they know that it is even illegal or it is wrong to take part in an illegal exercise. So why are you going into an illegal exercise? I have given you about 3 good reasons why the so-called planned election from August 30th is illegal. It shouldn't happen in this case. It's not an election.
But
with that reason,
we've seen so many of these things still happen,
in it?
Right?
No, the courts. No, for this we should trust the court. It cannot. Our pain is not because it's not going to be nullified. If it's finally happened.
That's what I mean when I talk about selective.
Do you understand?
You believe the court now in this case.
No, the court. There are things. The court is also beginning to understand that a bigger thing is at stake. Because a time will come, we have no country to bequeath to the young generation, the next generation. Now, the issue why we are raising concern is not because this election will finally stand. A lot of persons are waiting. In fact, before the 30th, it's even possible the election will not hold through the courts.
Okay.
But what we are raising concern is that money is going to be signed out for it. It's not about whether it can stand. Even you know it can't stand. It's not a process. It can't stand. The Sudan Minister cannot conduct any election. He can't conduct that election. He was told he came there to bring peace. So that was supposed to happen. It's not to take over the structure of the local government and now later hand it over. That is not what he came to do. So he cannot stand. And because he cannot stand, our concern is that the taxpayers' money, billions and millions that will be signed out, that this election has been done, that even if after court has later nullified the election, what happened to the taxpayers' money? What happened to the rivers that goes to bed without eating? So why can't you use the money to build a road, use the money to do something for students, give scholarship? This money that want to be spending on an exercise in futility, an exercise that holds no ground. So why are you so? IPAC should be highly commended. There is no reason anyone should participate in. That is not it's not election. And of course who appointed so it's not going to be, for them that is not going to be election. So you don't take in participate in something that it has no legal ground to happen in the first place. So we are calling on the president it's becoming a joke taken too far. That despite all the cause to rescind his decision for the state of emergency declaration in Rivers State, we are now seeing Nigeria are now made to believe that the main reason is to capture the grassroots governance, which is why they are now going ahead to even plan for election. This has to be rescinded as soon as possible, and it should call back the duly elected governor as a custodian of the rule of law and democracy in Nigeria. Call it back and let democratic healing Begin.
All right. Thank you so much for that one. If you're just joining us, we have been here with Engineer Kenneth Eze, and he's the Executive Director of Speak Out Africa Initiative. And we have been talking about the controversy over the local government polls in Rivers State. We're already mid the hour. Let's go out on a very short break. When we get back, we'll keep up the conversation.
Hello viewers at home, this is the Almighty and I'm here at the Masterminds Maiden Edition and our audition today. This is the platform where we give young mind kids from the ages of 7 to 17 the platform to express their feeling and to showcase their talent.
My name is Uzo Emanuela.
Sadiq Labron Abu.
Jessica Prince. My name is Helen Udi.
Sarah Angela Achalaga. My name is Golden Aisha.
Precious Odumu. I'm Tarila. I am Paris Aban.
Just not Julie.
Let's go.
This was amazing.
It was splendid. Mastermind.
Nigeria's economy, the global markets, what does it all mean for you? From stock market insights to global financial news you need to know. From Wall Street to the main street and of course, the marketplace.
Get the answers you need every week on Business Lens with me, Faith Dafa Joseph, as I bring into focus the stories, strategies, and shifts shaping our economy. No angle is missed as I talk about the business, the people, patterns, and possibilities behind them. Welcome to the Business Lens.
Rapid TV, rooted in truth, driven by impact.
Meet the men and women shaping the future of Nigeria. Get to know your representatives at the National Assembly. From lawmaking to constituency projects, we'll take you behind the scenes and inside the chambers of the Nigerian National Assembly. Learn about the bills they are championing, the challenges they are facing, and the impact they are making in their constituencies. We'll also bring you closer to the people they are serving and the stories that shape their work. Join us on NAS Watch every Friday on Rapid Television at 7 p.m. So get informed, get engaged, and get to know the leaders shaping Nigeria's future.
All right, welcome back and thanks for staying with us. It's still Rapid on right here on Rapid TV. And we have been expanding on the controversies of the local government polls in Rivers State. Now, it's one that calls for deep reflection in our political sector because if we experience this kind of antagonism at the grassroots level, it's just a reflection of what happens in the larger political scene.
Yeah.
Because the grassroots level is where I feel like that's where you get the true effect of governance
Right.
through the local government. But if this is being threatened time and again, and we are seeing a couple of people trying to hijack that what is the future of democracy? Already it's been threatened in River State. And the fact that we have not seen a lot of people hammer on it, civil societies, civil groups, talk about how democracy is being threatened, particularly in River State, and looking for a lasting solution to it. We just might be seeing this replicated in other states.
Right.
Because, when this whole rivalry between the former governor of River State, now the FCT minister, and the FCT minister were in this tussle, one of the things I was very concerned about is how the president was going to handle the loggerhead between them.
Yeah.
Because how he handles it determines whether or not such a matter is going to raise its ugly head in another state. We know that in Edo State, we had that back and forth between Shaibu and the incumbent governor. We saw that being resolved somehow, or one being bullied anyways. Whatever happened there. But you see, we will see these things being replicated in other states. Now, over to you, Engineer Kenneth. Do you think that the president has handled this matter amicably? And do you think that from how he has handled it, we would see these things being replicated in other states?
Of course, the answer is crystal clear. And I've said that he has handled it poorly.
Okay.
And that is why so many people questions, because the hope people have before now on the president is that is a statesmanship, is a major beneficiary of democracy.
Okay.
He has fought for democracy. In fact, in many of his campaign, he always tell us that he has fought for democracy, stand for democracy. Do you understand? So he has handled it poorly. And that is why I said earlier, nobody is above mistake in this sense. He could have been ill-advised, wrongly advised by advisors. I want us to know that it's not everything the president does that is a direct, that came directly from him. Some, is taking insight and recommendations and input from his advisors and different people and make a decision. But of course, in all of this, he takes the blame or takes the accolade. So for Nigerians, for people, he hasn't handled this very well. He should have taken the side of constitution, the side of rule of law, the side of democracy. Because, like you said, he has given room for this to be replicated in other states. So as far as you are in his party, you are free. You will do it and nothing will happen. And so all these things, because we should be looking at after now, what will you be remembered for? What you cannot remain a president for 20 years, 30 years, you are going. And there are people we still talk about today. President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. 2 years plus. Everybody is saying we wish Umaru Musa had stayed longer. That if President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua is to be alive today, even if he wants to be going every, because of what did he do? It's what he did within 2 years plus. So the whole thing about having different rules apply to different situations, we need to have a generalized base. What is good for the goose should be good for the gander. Not that you do selective application of laws and decisions. I just told us in Benue State, things were done. There is nothing undemocratic as what happened in Benue State. To dissolve duly elected local government chairman. And it's not like the person went to court and took Osun own. Is that Osun governor, the new party came and approached the court and presented a case, a cause before the court, and told the court that the same reason that instead of 90 days, this election was rushed because the governor did it at the heel of his exit. And he said, this cannot stand because it's not meet social condition. And the court saw reason and cancelled it and ordered for a new one. But in Benue, no court was, it was just dissolved through the state assembly and whatever they did. So, but as we still speak, all these things, we see what is happening there. So, president has not handled it well. But he can, there is still a chance. That's what we are saying. Democratic healing can begin.
So how do you think he would have handled it? That would have been a better way.
Of course. First is that there was no need, I still emphasize it, to have even declared a state of emergency and bring in a sole administrator. Now, and when that has already happened, is a woman, what he will have done is to, within 1 month, 3 weeks, immediately, come back and rescind the statement and said, okay, now this is the situation now. Governor, please, can you work with the state sole administrator hand in hand to bring democratic healing? Because the issue we are talking about that's happening in the university is a political issue. It's not a concern, it's a political, someone somewhere, two of them cannot reconcile on their agreement, which we are not privy to. Maybe president could be privy to that. So it's a political issue, but you cannot allow political issue to so much be affecting the states like that. So this will have been handled within 1 month. The governor would have been recalled back, and the governor will be the one as we speak today.
Yeah.
Now there's nothing two of them could have an agreement and say, okay, the governor and the former governor, okay, out of 23 local governments, you can take over 6 or 3. It's not more than what the politicians are doing. That is a business.
So they share
our business. Our business is upholding the constitution,
No, you're
upholding
saying,
democracy.
are you saying
But-
they
but
share
sharing-
the local government?
Politicians, of course.
So is that even
But
a
that's
solution
that,
to
no,
anything? Yeah.
and that's a double standard. You
Yes,
say
yes.
uphold the rule of law,
And
but
then-
that's what politicians
I'll
do.
do is share it.
When we mean sharing is because this fight is about who brings in the candidate of the party.
Okay.
That is the candidate. Now, how do you get ministerial position? How did the president appoint those he appointed as minister? They were sleeping in their house, they were appointed. Were they not the people, all the minister you are seeing, were they not the people that were following him around, doing campaigns? That is what they do. Is for them, is a reward for what you have done for us.
Okay.
And that is why the country remains where we are, because that is not what it should be. It should be what you are bringing to the table.
Okay.
So we know that this fight is about who controls, because the local government, that fund is what they use to run election. That is where, and that is why Supreme Court has done so well by declaring that financial, at least the pronouncement or the financial autonomy. Now we need to move to now the real implementation, where the money will now get down to the local government. Because we still see as we speak, the governors are still holding and are still holding captive that funds.
All
so
right.
that is how it has been done. But we still have time. President should not wait for 2 more months. The coming election should not hold. INEC should also please raise their voice again and call the states to order. I remember the last local government election. INEC had, opposed and told the planned River State election sec that you don't have the real registrar to conduct this, so don't go ahead. We want INEC specifically to call the OUTSEC to order and said, no, you cannot do this because electoral act is at stake.
Okay.
The judiciary, if they fail to do this, the judiciary should not waste time.
Okay.
No matter whose us is God. Should not waste time to cancel this election. But I am adding further. It will not end at cancelling election. They will demand that all these people that want to spend taxpayer money, they must pay the money back.
There are talks on the street, of course, especially in River State, that over the past of this 4 or 5 months right now, that River State has become a political ground for experimentation, right? From the suspension of the sitting governor to the installing of the sole administrator. What would you say about this?
Of course. What is being tested on is an experiment. Is they are weighing how it's going to be. They moved to Osun now. Of course, you is in the public glare of what people believe that is one of the tactics, how the party in government brings you or force you into their side. So they know what to do to decapitate you politically. Then you come. So we are seeing that move. And that is why every lover of our democracy must stand against this. Must say, this is not how it should be done. If we continue like this, we will not have a nation tomorrow. We will not have a country, because there is a limit to what people can take. So the so-called experimentation in River State that is going on, the president should immediately wade in. No matter how far I have gone in the wrong direction, one right step is still far better.
Not too late to turn back.
It's not too late to turn back.
All right.
The president can today call the governor back, start democratic healing process of the state. Because Lagos, River State is a nation, is a state that has so much to give to this country.
All right. Thank you so much. Yes, you would agree that it's been an extensive conversation here about Rivers State. And just like he said, we hope that the president will retrace his step because, again, Victor has said Rivers State has been a ground for political experiments, not necessarily because they intended it to be so, but because everything that happens there, some of them are new. Sure. And if they are not handled properly, it will be replicated in other states. So this experiment has got to be handled properly, just so we don't see this kind of resistance raise its ugly head yet again. Thank you so much, Engineer Kenneth Eze, for joining us here on the show today. Of course, he's the director of Speak Out Africa Initiative, and he has done justice to dissecting the matter of Rivers State. And I'm back to us in the studio. It's myself and Victor. We've been here with you all morning from the hour of 7 up until now. And we hope that we've been able to help you start your day smarter and more informed and educated as possible. Right. Remember, we are active across social media platforms on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and on X at Rapid TV. We also stream all of our programs on YouTube, so you can go back for a rewatch at official Rapid TV. Remember, you can take us with you literally everywhere with our website, www.rbnradiotv.com. I am Martha Alu. You can call me Martha.
And I am Victor. Okay, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
My name is Akio Sakiodo.
Hey guys, this is Anto Lecky.
My name is Leo Bliss.
My name is Akava. Go by the name Baba D.
And you're tuned into Rapid TV. And I love Rapid TV.
Shout out Rapid TV. Thank you, Rapid TV. Please keep watching
Rapid TV. This is Rapid TV.
Rapid
TV.
Keep watching.
Keep it down.
Leave it like that.
Chinua Achebe. In the world of African literature, one name echoes louder than most: Chinua Achebe. Born in 1930 in Ogidi, Anambra State, Achebe grew up between two worlds: the rich traditions of Igbo culture and the rising tide of British colonialism. At just 28 years old, he penned a novel that would change African storytelling forever, Things Fall Apart. It told the story of Okonkwo, a proud Igbo man whose world is torn apart by colonial invasion. But really, it was a story about Africa told by an African. Before Achebe, African stories were often written by outsiders, but with elegant prose and unflinching truth, Achebe gave Africa its voice. He said, "Until the lions have their own historians, the history of the hunt will always glorify the hunter." Achebe didn't stop at fiction. He was a political critic, essayist, and professor. He rejected Nigeria's national honors in protest of injustice. His legacy, unshakable. Achebe didn't just write novels. He reclaimed a narrative. He reminded us that African stories belong to Africans first.
In the heart of Central Africa, a voice once rose, bold, fearless, and unyielding. That voice belonged to Patrice Emery Lumumba, the first Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of Congo, a man who dared to dream of a free and self-governing African nation. Lumumba stood for sovereignty, for dignity, for a Congo where the people control their own land, their own wealth, and their own destiny, free from the chokehold of colonial powers. But for that vision, he paid the ultimate price. Just months after independence in 1960, Lumumba was overthrown, arrested, and handed over to enemies backed by foreign interests. He was brutally tortured, murdered, and dismembered, his body dissolved in acid in an attempt to erase his legacy, his existence. For over 60 years, nothing of him remained except a single gold-crowned tooth stolen as a trophy. That tooth, symbolic of a stolen future, was only returned to Congo in 2022. They tried to silence him, but today Patrice Lumumba's voice echoes louder than ever. His dream lives on, not just in Congo, but in every African who dares to speak truth, demand justice, and fight for the future shaped by its own hands.
Oshun Oshobo Sacred Grove. Tucked along the banks of the Oshun River in Oshobo lies a forest unlike any other, the Oshun Oshobo Sacred Grove. It's not just a forest, it's a spiritual sanctuary, a cultural heartbeat, and a living museum of Yoruba heritage dedicated to Oshun, the goddess of fertility and love. The grove has been a sacred site for centuries. Here, shrines, sculptures, and sanctuaries sit quietly beneath towering trees, protected by the whispers of priestesses and spirits. In the 20th century, when urbanization threatened the grove, an Austrian artist named Susanne Wenger settled in Oshobo and alongside local devotees helped restore its sacred status. Today, her dramatic sculptures blend with the spiritual architecture, a rare fusion of tradition and modern expression. The annual Oshun Oshobo Festival brings pilgrims from across the globe. They come to honor Oshun, to seek blessings, and to dance in celebration of culture and life. In 2005, UNESCO declared it a World Heritage Site, calling it one of the last sacred groves that once dotted the Yoruba region. The Oshun Oshobo Grove isn't just sacred, it's proof that nature, art, and spirituality can live and thrive in harmony. Fumilayo Ransom Kuti. Before feminism had a name in Nigeria, there was Fumilayo Ransom Kuti, educator, activist, and fearless lioness. Born in 1900 in Abeokuta, she was the first Nigerian woman to drive a car. But that's only a tiny footnote in the life of revolution. Fumilayo was a teacher, but her true classroom was the society. In the 1940s, she founded the Abeokuta Women's Union, an organization that mobilized thousands of market women to challenge colonial taxes and gender oppression. With chants, petitions, and protests, they took on the king literally. They confronted the Alake of Egba, accusing him of corruption. He was forced to abdicate. But Fumilayo's fire wasn't just local. She traveled the world, advocating for Nigerian independence and women's rights. She rubbed shoulders with world leaders and inspired generations, including her own son, Fela Kuti. Even after independence, she remained Nigerians' conscience, bold, brilliant, and unbroken. Fumilayo Ransom Kuti was more than Fela's mother. She was Nigeria's mother of resistance.
Every now and then, a story of resilience becomes a movement, and in the heart of Nigeria's military barracks, one such story was born, the story of Mami Market. Today, we go back in time to explore how one woman's determination to support her family sparked a revolution that now defines community life across our nation. Our story begins in 1959 at the Abapa Army Barracks in Enugu. A woman named Mami Maria Ochefu, a wife, mother, and quiet force of nature, decided to sell a local millet drink known as kunu or enyi to soldiers. Her goal was simple: feed her children, support her home. What she didn't know was that this humble act will shape Nigerian social enterprise history. Her drinks were widely popular, so popular that they attracted the attention of officers. But not all attention was friendly. Her unit's commander shut the business down, citing hygiene concerns.
Voices on Rapid TV. We're rooted in culture and your window to the stories that matter. From news to lifestyle, we inform, entertain, and uplift. Join Rapid TV on Star Times Channel 176, Nightcom Sat. On Rapid FM, we speak your language from the soulful airwaves of Umuahia to the vibrant culture of Port Harcourt and beyond. More than broadcasters, we're creators, amplifying that voice within with powerful content across TV, radio, and digital. Join us at rbnradiotv.com and all our social media handles. One network, one voice. Rapid Broadcasting Network, RBN, the sound of your city. Rooted in truth, driven by impact.
My name is Ima Ehumadu, aka La Vista.
My name is DK, aka Mama Chinedu.
Keep watching Rapid TV.
You are watching Rapid TV.
Shout out to Rapid.